There is only one campaign that has beaten Donald Trump repeatedly and that can and will beat Donald Trump in this nomination.
So, Trump and Cruz. Cruz says he is the only one to beat Trump, the only alternative. Here's your delegate count this morning. As of last night, here is the number. Trump leads at 458, Cruz 359, Rubio 151, and John Kasich at 54. Former Texas Governor Rick Perry wants a candidate for the nomination. 2016, a Ted Cruz supporter live in his hometown of Austin, Texas. How are you, Governor, and good morning?
Good morning, Bill. Thank you very much.
What did last night teach you, Governor?
I get a charge out of Donald Trump. He says, no one's ever beat me, which means they rarely beat me. But anyway, the consistency or the lack of consistency out of Donald Trump is always kind of gives me a charge. Listen, this is still an open process. It's down to two people. I think everyone recognizes that. It's Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. And the question for Americans is, do you want a consistent conservative as your president? And I've yet to see the consistency in Donald Trump. And the person who's best equipped to really turn Washington on its ear. Americans are angry. I mean, and you're seeing that response of the people who are supporting Donald Trump, and I understand that and I respect them. But the question for them, I think, is who do you think is really best equipped to do what you want to do, which is to reduce the size of government, to get government out of your life, to put a real conservative on the Supreme Court with the nominee to take Scalia's place. And Senator Cruz clearly is that individual who has been consistent.
Yeah. If you're down to two, that means people are going to have to make a choice real soon.
Yeah,
do you see Donald Trump winning you over?
Listen, I'm going to be for the Republican nominee whenever that occurs. I just think we're a long way from that happening. Whoever is going to be able to get to that magic number, and I'm not sure that that's going to happen. So there's always this outside possibility of the brokered convention as well. And listen, that is pure democracy right there. You go in, you have your vote, you have the people that have gone through the process, and they would select the nominee. So I think we're a long way from. I don't think Donald Trump wants to be mano a mano with Ted Cruz. When it gets down to those two individuals straight up where you're going for somebody's going to get above 50%, Ted Cruz is going to win that.
You might be right, but the calendar shifts away from favorability for Cruz, and so we'll see how that plays out. But you said something very interesting, that you'll support the Republican nominee. That means if Cruz does not win, you'll support Donald Trump, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Listen,
so if that's the case, then you think about Republican establishment, right? Think about all the folks in Washington, D.C. Both Cruz and Trump sell themselves as outsiders. So who does the establishment pick if the choice is Trump or Cruz?
Well, I think Senator Cruz, you're hearing that time after time, is that when you have Lindsey Graham, when you have others that have been pretty critical of Senator Cruz in the past, but when they look at it and they say the difference here between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, I'm going to go with Ted Cruz because at least we know we're getting a consistent conservative who will put a true conservative, strict constitutionalist on the United States Supreme Court, will work to devolve power out of Washington, D.C., actually knows what the 10th Amendment says and means. I'm not sure whether Donald Trump even knows what the 10th Amendment is, much less would he devolve power out of Washington, D.C., and someone that would really stand up for our veterans. You know, I work with a group called Keep the Promise to the Vets, and we're working really hard to bring these veterans issues to bear and making sure that we have someone that will support our military, will support our veterans, and that's Ted Cruz, and I'm very comfortable with that.
You know, if you think about Rubio, it's conventional wisdom, right, Governor? If he loses Florida, it's over. Kasich has said the same if he doesn't win Ohio. But if Trump takes both and Cruz is shut out of those winner-take-all states, does he now faces a significant challenge for that nomination. Would you agree on that?
Well, what I agree on is it's down to a two-person race, and I think that's what we're going to see come out of this. And at that particular point in time, can either one, Trump or Cruz, get to the magic number? And I think that's going to be the real question here. And if they don't, then July gets to be a very, very interesting month as we go to Cleveland and make that decision who's going to be our nominee.
Up until early February, only 9% of Republican TV ads were anti-Trump. This past week, it went to 47%. And you still got the result you did last night. I'll give you the final word to reflect on that.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of game to be played yet. And I think trying to say that last night was an indicator of what's going to happen going forward, it just is, you know, Super Tuesday, Ted Cruz had a fabulous night. And still a lot of ball game to be played out there, so it's going to be an interesting process.
Governor, thank you for your time. Rick Perry live there in Austin. Good luck at Fort Hood later today. I know you've got a significant ceremony there, and we wish you our best. Thank you, Governor.